Barbell Junction.
Hey guys, welcome back to a new episode of the Barbell Junction. Join with me as always is the boss, Thanos.
Thanos.
Me, myself, Hariz.
Me, Faye, and then we have Luke today. All right.
Hello guys, what's going on?
What's
Luke
up?
here.
So Luke is a personal trainer at House of Champions.
Yeah, amongst other
And
places.
And most other places.
Most other places, right? And
Right. Many more.
So the topic for today is we want to talk about nutrition, myths of nutrition. So maybe we can start off with
Yeah, missing nutrition and like getting back from training from injury. Getting back to training, sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Maybe a little bit of history from Luke first. Like,
yeah, so
Luke, tell us
how'd
about
you
yourself.
How'd you start? How'd you get into like powerlifting?
How'd you get so big?
How'd you get the beard?
Nasi biryani.
That's what I want to know.
Nasi biryani,
Nasi
yeah.
biryani.
How'd you
Okay,
get jacked?
so about myself, well, basically been into sports since I was a kid. Started at 15. Started lifting at 15 actually, just to get better at basketball. But also I was a skinny kid, and back then I was of the impression that if you were bigger and had muscle, you would get a lot of girls.
Did you get a lot of girls?
No, I got the opposite. I had guys coming up to me saying, "Bro, besar."
Oh, yeah.
Satu hari main makan
that's
berapa
true.
telur. So basically, I've had guys.
Just
Instead of getting
big.
girls come up to me, I've had guys come up to me and ask me like, "Do I go to the gym?
How do you train?
How many eggs do I eat a day?
Okay.
How do I train? How do you train to get big arms? Things like that."
Makan protein lah.
How old were you when they started approaching you?
By the time I started seeing like some decent gains was like 16, 17.
So just within a year of training, about a year
A
plus.
year and a half.
Like, how
Yeah.
much did you weigh back then?
I was at 180 centimeters. I was probably like on the high 70s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's still not a
Yeah,
lot
but
of mass,
I-
right?
Yeah, but it's this skinny, just tall and skinny.
So from 15, you were how many? So 60 kgs, and you went up to 70. By the
Yeah,
time
when
you
I was
60?
50, I was about so I was at 15, I was about 65ish.
And you went up to 70 something.
Yeah,
by
because I
16,
think I'm
70.
still growing.
Okay,
still
okay.
growing.
Mm. I'm still growing.
Hey, I was gonna say that.
Yeah, growth is
Yeah.
good.
The second phase.
Yeah. So basically, it's been like that since then. I started at 15. I just kept pursuing it. I kept pursuing it because it started off with wanting to get girls, but then after a while, it just became something else entirely. Like, I actually looked forward to going to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
I actually looked forward to training because it gave me a sense of discipline. Going to the gym was kind of like my cool hangout spot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I've always had trouble fitting in when I was a kid. So going to the gym, hanging out with the older guys, them teaching you like how to lift, it was kind of like my hangout spot. So I just pursued it ever since then. Got into competitive powerlifting at 5 years ago? Was it 4 years ago? I joined my first meet in 2015.
The first MPA?
Yeah, the first MPA
Mhm.
back in 2015, and that's when I had my first real major injury.
How old were you then? By then?
How old am I now?
25, right?
21. I was 21 back then.
21?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was 21 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, but probably we'll get to that later.
Mhm.
Did I cover my story?
Yeah,
Not even.
skip.
I think I did
Kinda,
a big
yeah.
skip.
That was
I-
It's a good overview.
I
Yeah.
thought you got into CrossFit first before you got into powerlifting.
Yes, that is a good question. So
Like doing both at the same time.
no, you can't. I mean, yeah, you can do. You can.
Or you
So,
tried. That's
You,
why.
you can't like lose fat and build muscle like together.
So what happened was, like everybody who starts off with a fitness
Goal.
fitness goal, it
Yeah.
always starts off with a straight up bodybuilding, right?
Yeah, but doing yeah.
Yeah, nobody really knows. Like, I mean, back then.
Like
Probably now it's much more like people get into specific sports straight away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it was bodybuilding, and then I started working at this gym where they did something similar to CrossFit, which was basically still like doing a bunch of exercises really fast,
Random stuff.
random stuff.
Bad form.
Bad,
Rand?
bad form.
No, it's not
Rab- oh,
random.
rhabdo.
No, it's functional.
Oh, it's functional.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
functional
Functional.
training. You gotta get the
Nice.
words right.
Yes.
You gotta get the words
Okay,
right.
okay.
Our viewers might be angry, you know.
Yeah.
Sorry,
So-
guys. Functional.
I did that. I did CrossFit, or something similar to it. But then after that, I actually did the actual one, I actually started like training for the actual CrossFit.
Which is worse.
Which is worse. All right.
Don't worry,
that's it
I
for
still
today.
kept my gains. I still kept my
okay.
gains. No hate to CrossFitters out there listening to this.
Yeah,
Man. I
it's
saw
just
my
a
best friends are
friendly-
CrossFitters, so just
Yeah.
just playing. We're just playing.
Just playing. Just friendly.
Please still accept me as your friend.
Actually, that's true. Like, if it wasn't for CrossFit, I don't think I would be here, because when I started, it was like, I saw like a Rich Froning, and I was like, oh, whoa,
Oh,
this
this
guy's strong.
Yeah.
It's like, well, 140 clean, what?
Exactly.
But then you start going deeper into the sport, and you're like, oh, that's like.
it's like my joints can't handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was then after that was CrossFit, and after CrossFit was powerlifting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the reason for the transition is that I still at the time when I did my first competition powerlifting meet, I still had the desire to do CrossFit a lot, but I just wanted to try something in the meantime. And then I did my first meet, and I realized that, hey, this is actually pretty cool, because my goal was always to look aesthetic but strong and functional, right? So that has always been my goal. I want to look the part, but at the same time I want to be able to perform the part. You
Yeah.
know?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I could get that with CrossFit, and to be competitive in the sport of CrossFit required a tremendous amount of investment in time.
Yeah,
And
definitely, yeah.
time. You see, and at the time, time was not
Yeah, sure, right?
was very
Time was not
limited.
time.
Time is very limited. So it's very hard to just like, you got to get good at weightlifting. You got to get good at your
Gymnastics.
gymnastics.
Yeah.
You got to get good at so many like different
Disciplines.
like disciplines, right?
Yeah.
And to me, at the time, it didn't seem like the right thing to do. But powerlifting, on the hand, it fit my schedule just perfectly.
Right.
Why not weightlifting though? I mean, the natural transition that I see is that CrossFitters will go into weightlifting more than
Yes.
powerlifting.
Yes, that is correct. But the thing is, 4 or 5 years ago, weightlifting was almost nowhere to be
Yeah.
found, except in the probably the very first CrossFit boxes, or like if there was, it's probably just very far away from where I could afford to travel to.
Right.
Yeah, so but powerlifting, you could do it almost anywhere,
Any gym.
any
right.
gym. And back then, again, bumper plates, all these kind of plates were not like as accessible
Yeah.
as it is
Yeah, yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They didn't have places like Zealfit back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
They
now
never
do.
will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never will.
As if it's one and only.
They do. But now they do. Now like almost everywhere you can do weightlifting.
Yeah.
But back then, powerlifting could still be done anywhere.
Yeah.
Mm.
Right.
So this is. Were you still studying at the time?
So at the time, I was not studying. I was just working, because
Working.
I right out of high school, I really did not know what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just
Hanging out.
hanging out.
Yeah.
In the
Training.
gym?
I mean, hanging
Training.
out, training, but I was also working. I worked in a couple of gyms. I worked in Celebrity Fitness. That was my first gym I ever worked at, and then moved to different other gyms from there on.
Mm.
So I've been like in the fitness industry since quite like almost 10 years now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait. How old are you now?
I am 26 this year, so I'm still 25.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
Mm.
So young, right? Yet so much experience.
Like I said, I think it's just a matter of how you grow up. You know, some kids my age, like, they go to malls to hang out. I went to the gym. Some went karaoke. I went to the gym, or something like that. You know, it's just how you're basically how you grow up. How you
Right.
grow up, the environment that you're in. If you hang with the older crowd,
Yeah.
it just forces you to just step up your game a bit more. So yeah, things like that.
So your first competition of powerlifting was in 2015, which is the first MPA, right?
Yes, correct.
So after that, what happens? What happened?
After the first competition, I just started joining all the other competitions, all the other powerlifting competitions that was available at the time. And at the time, I was quite good at it. You know, I kept winning my weight class.
Hey, like Haris.
Like Haris.
Like Haris.
Yeah, except I never reached a bench goal like him. That's crazy. But
It was coming.
So people like Haris can relate. You know, when they do something, they invest their time in, they get good at it, they want to do it more.
Makes you do it more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it makes you do it more.
Mm.
Plus, it's like kind of like your call. To me, it's like a calling.
Mm.
You know, like it was not so much the competition that excited me, but it's the training leading up to it.
Mm.
You know,
Mm.
the
Process,
like,
right?
the process of committing to a specific program or putting in hours and knowing at the end of the day, at the end of the competition, you got what you put in.
Yeah.
Mm.
Things like that.
So, and you got injured in when?
So funny thing is, I got injured in my first meet.
That MPA meet?
That same MP meet that I joined, I got injured
During the meet or the meet prep?
during the meet, during the actual meet, and it's on the. I remember at the time I was actually going for the sub junior. Is it sub junior?
Sub junior.
No, it's junior. It was
Junior.
junior. It was a junior world record for squat.
Mm.
Yeah.
How much was it for the?
Back then, honestly, it was it was the no sleeves.
Okay,
no
sleeveless.
sleeves.
Yeah, I did
Yeah,
that.
sleeveless. So I think it was just like
220?
200.
Oh, okay,
210. I'm not sure. It's 200, 210.
Right.
400, 100 kgs.
Under 90.
Oh, 90. Okay.
Under 90. Yep. I was much lighter back then.
So what happened? So you hurt yourself in the squat?
Yes. So basically, what happened is that on the third attempt, on the third attempt, I think I was going down during the squat, and I lost the air in my stomach. Like I lost the tightness.
Did you
and-
fart it out?
Actually,
No.
If you find out, you make it more tight because you have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd actually.
Is
Yeah,
that
to
backed
brace
by
more.
science? Is
No,
it true?
no, you have to
It
brace
is,
more
yeah.
to let it out, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I
Okay.
was bracing pretty hard, so whether it came out or
Or
didn't
not,
come out,
you don't know.
And people will say, ah! So, you know,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
hear the
I
fart.
don't think so anyone would have heard it, but probably the spotter behind me would have like smelt it.
Man, this guy.
Protein.
Where are we going with this?
Yeah. So
Sorry.
I lost tightness, and when I went down, I just I felt like a very, very tight and sharp pain followed by a very tight pull
In your glutes.
in my back, in my lower back.
Or lower back, okay.
Oh.
Yeah, so when I felt that in that instance, I could not come up from the bottom of my squat,
Okay.
and basically after that I just could not bend my body, like my upper body. And at the time I was thinking, oh, this must be it must be just like some kind of pull or
Yeah.
some kind of strain, or maybe it's just like a really sore lower back, like my back was really sore, because afterwards it just kept getting worse.
Mhm.
Like even bending anywhere like remotely forward would just cause like a
Yeah.
lot of pain.
Yeah, been there.
Yeah. So that feeling, right? And I chalked it up to just, this is nothing. It's a small matter. Probably you'll go away after a few days. Just take some painkillers and ice it, and you're good to go.
Back to training.
Back to training, and that's exactly what I did. I went back to training.
Wait, hold on. So you hurt yourself during the squats?
Yes.
Then you still had to do
Bench.
the bench and also the deadlift.
Yes, correct. So I still did it. Yeah,
And then you still won.
I still won. Yeah,
You put conventional.
I pulled sumo.
Oh, is that sumo? Okay.
Yeah, so I didn't put so much strain on my lower back.
Mm.
Yeah.
Which, okay.
Wait, how many people were you going against?
I was actually at the time. I think I was going against Fatah.
Oh, Fatah.
Fatah.
But
yeah.
he was in the open at the time.
Yeah, he was in open, but that time I don't think so. They had a different
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
yeah.
Which is one, yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh.
I was like Fatah, and I think 3 more other guys.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's impressive.
How did you?
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, it's like it's still a miracle. My spine held intact. So I'll get to it. I'll get to what actually the injury was like in a bit. But after that day, I just said I continued training again, and I was deadlifting this time, and then when I was pulling the bar, I felt that same snap like happen again, and I was just like, oh man, this. Okay, maybe my back's not rested enough.
Maybe something's wrong.
No, my
Need
back's
more-
definitely not rested enough.
Yeah,
Maybe I
need
went a
more
bit too
painkillers.
heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Painkillers and ice. So
Again.
again. And then it happened 2 more times.
Oh.
So the first meet was in March. It happened, 3 more times until come November or December. And that's when I finally decided, you know what? Okay, something's not right.
Mm.
So keep in mind, the 3rd of the month of March, and then like 7 7 months, 7 or 8 months later,
Yeah.
I decided to get it checked.
Yeah.
So you're pretty much training the whole year
Yeah,
with
I just
that
kept
back pain.
I was
back
just
and forth. Back
I was
and
there
forth.
with you one of those times, right? Like when it started hurting again.
Oh no, that was afterwards.
Oh, that's after?
That's much
Oh, well,
after.
okay.
That's another injury I experienced with him, which I'll
Yeah,
tell you
yeah,
also
yeah.
in a bit.
Yeah.
Um,
I think you're scaring a lot of people.
okay, just to clarify, guys, I did not powerlifting, weightlifting, any sports did not cause this. Well, okay, maybe I got it during the sport, but it's
But,
not
yeah.
dangerous.
I think any sport will.
Yeah.
you
Any
know,
sport,
there's-
any
there's a
sport
risk.
like
Luke's a rare case. So.
Yeah.
I am a very rare case. So, come November, the time I went to see a doctor. I got the whole testing done, get an MRI done.
Mm.
So that's the first step I took to getting it checked out. So I got an MRI done, and the results came about I think 2 weeks later. I still remember the time quite vividly. I had my friend's wife tell it to me, and then she sat me down outside of the gym. She sat me down, and
Oh,
then
man.
she started explaining to me, okay, so your results are you have a torn disc.
Ooh.
You have torn IV disc. So it's basically your spine, the two bones. In
Mm.
between the bone, there's something called an intervertebral disc.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? It's like kind of like a sponge.
The sponge that holds
Yeah,
liquid in, right?
So it's kind of like the sponge that allows that flexion.
Mm.
Okay.
So things that happen. Now inside of that particular disc, there's a nucleus.
Mm.
Okay, so
Nucleus.
it's like a very thick jelly-like substance.
Mm.
Okay, so what happened was that disc had torn, and that jelly inside the
Came
nucleus
out.
came out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when it was coming out, it was pressing onto my sciatic nerve, which is a
Mm.
nerve
Yeah,
that
yeah.
runs along the
Right.
side of your
Mm.
spine, and it's a relatively big nerve,
Mm.
one of the biggest, right? And when it started pressing onto that nerve, I started to feel a lot of pain shoot down my leg.
Yep.
And over time the pain just started getting worse. It got so bad to the point that standing for like 5 minutes would cause me discomfort.
Mm.
Anything more than that caused me pain. Walking would cause me pain. Showering for some reason it would cause me pain. Sleeping also pain. So it's very getting into my car was the worst, when I actually had to bend and
over,
get
yeah.
into my car. So I was in pain constantly every day. Took painkillers at the time. So she was telling me that, okay, that disc is torn. So I'm just like, oh no, what else? And then she goes like, the disc below that is degenerated.
Because it's supporting the weight of the.
So this degeneration comes from like multiple things, but most likely wear and tear. Let's just go with
It's
wear
over
and tear.
time.
Yeah, over time. And then and it didn't stop there. She told me like a few more other things. Basically, like from my L4 to L5 to my S1, it was damaged.
Right.
That area is damaged. It's like a couple tears here and there. It's like the whole. It was really not the kind of good news you want, and I remember it very distinctly because just a few days later it was my birthday. Yeah.
Right.
So I was
Yeah.
just like, oh, I got this on my birthday.
Oh, by the way, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Luke.
Yeah, I was like, a few
Have
days
some
later-
spine gel.
Yeah, I was like, happy birthday. By the way, you have a broken spine.
So basically now you can't arch.
No, I can arch.
You can.
I can. See, that's
Wait,
the
wait,
thing.
wait, you're getting ahead.
We need to.
Wait, what happened after that?
But
So-
we need to get to that on the next
After the break.
or after our break.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
dang.
time for a break.
Okay.
Time
Sorry,
for a break.
guys.
Okay.
All right, well,
Give your spine a break, guys.
Yeah.
I'll give a spine a
To be
break.
continued.
Yeah, we'll be right back after this. Hi, if you're interested to be on the podcast, send an email to info@zealfit.com.my. Alternatively, you can just give me a call at 012-2000-361. We can talk about anything. If you want to promote your products, if you want to promote yourself, bring it on. See you on the show.
And we're back. We have Luke with us from House of Champions. And then we were just talking about your injuries. Yeah.
So, where did we leave off
I
again?
think it was.
So before you explain whether you can arch now or not, what happened after you found out about your injury?
After you got the birthday gifts.
Yeah. So after I found out about my injury, I was definitely bummed. I was just like, oh no. So I asked her, the doctor, that what are my options right now? and she said that she would set an appointment with one of the orthopedics surgeons, a couple of specialists, and I saw all of them. I saw at the time her recommendations and a couple of other friends' recommendations and like family friends. I think I would have at least seen a dozen doctors. Like half of them were specialists, and in that particular time, each and every one of them has always either recommended surgery or just stop lifting.
Stop lifting.
Oh, don't get face started.
Don't.
Don't.
Why, yeah, you
cause
wanna.
I was speaking to one doctor, and that doctor said that okay, you should stop lifting, and then I asked him like, okay, if I should stop lifting in general, like not lift up at all, then like he said yes. And I'm like, okay, what do I need? Then how do I keep fit? I still need to train, and it's like he tells me like, okay, you can't squat or deadlift because if you do that and you continue to do that, if your condition worsens, you could lose feeling to your leg. I'm just like, what? And it's like, are you serious? And then he's like, okay, what about bench press? Can I do that at least? And like that I can still do an upper body movement, right? And then he goes like, no, you can't do bicep curls though.
Oh, that's
I
why.
almost lost
Okay.
my shit.
Now we know why,
dude.
now
I
we
was
know
like,
why.
so, are you kidding me? Bicep curls is the only thing I can do, and
For
then
the rest of your life.
for the rest of my life. So
He knows those exercises, right? What the exercises look like.
I honestly think he does not know. I do not think he actually knows what he was talking about. I mean, like perhaps the medicine part of it, he knew.
Yeah.
But my mistake. Okay, so what I've learned, and this goes out to everybody out there. If you do have an injury, and you get yourself checked out, always make sure that the person attending to you has a sports background. So, which means a sports doctor, because I'm quite fortunate to have met a lot of sports doctors along the way, and
Yep.
they know their shit.
Yep.
So what did they say?
So, okay, at the time I didn't see one. I couldn't find one. So, who I did find at the time was Frederick from Precise Rehab.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fred.
so Fred from Precise Rehab, okay, and he, together with Lip Chin, they helped me. They helped fix my back. They put me through a very intense rehab protocol in almost a year, and after that, I was back to like functioning like 100% without any pain.
Yep.
So it was a lot of ups and downs throughout the entire year, getting better. But after that period, after no surgery, just pure rehab with people who know what to do, how to do it, who've had experience treating people like me.
Sport specific, right?
Yeah, sport specific. So and that's actually what their clinic specializes in, musculoskeletal.
You guys can come on as a sponsor.
Yeah, shout out to Precise Rehab. I get like 5 free sessions, so give you a name. Actually, all of us should get 5
All
free
of us.
sessions. Yeah.
Yes.
So,
But
and then, yeah.
did you get like a what's the word? Did you go to get another like imaging of your back?
Yes, I did. I
Okay.
did go.
Was it the same? Like, was it? It's like slightly better, but there's still like degenerative stuff in there. But you're better, right?
Okay, that's a good question. Actually, I got my second imaging almost 6 months after my first one, and it did show some improvement on the damaged area.
Yep.
This is while you were doing the precise rehab
Yes,
protocol.
This is when I was doing my rehab.
The overall disc or just the degenerate one?
Okay, so the thing about that is that some the thing is, so I'm a physiotherapist myself, and when people go to get an MRI,
Yep.
okay, almost 80 to 90% of the imaging, again, in a healthy individual,
Yep.
will show some kind of like abnormality. Like it's not a serious thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll show. It's like you'll show like some kind of
Guys, I have to stop you for a while.
yeah.
Oh man, this is tough. Okay,
Okay.
tak apa. Okay, so let's just start off. So you went. I'll just summarize for you. So you went to precision rehab. Is it?
Precise.
Precise.
Precise
Precise.
rehab. Precise rehab. You went. They put you on a protocol for a year.
Yeah.
6 months in, you went for another MRI,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
okay, so the question just now that I was asking was
The whole disc.
you said that number one, the first disc hancho already, like liquid coming out,
I'm
and
sure. I
and
think
then-
you're scaring a lot.
yeah, and then the second and third one was degenerated, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
About to
okay,
hancho.
so then you said that something improved.
Yeah.
So which one?
So, okay, now 6 months later, the first disc, the one that was torn, it showed slight the nucleus that was coming out, the liquid that was coming out, it showed that it lessened the size, which means that the amount that was pressing onto my sciatic nerve was not as much as the last time. So that had shown a reduction. Okay, that was again 6 months later. The rest of the discs still had the degeneration aspect of it, but other than that, the other discs integrity was still there.
Yeah.
You know, so it got lesser. The pain got lesser over time. My back started feeling better over time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a better question for that though. Like, do you think like, let's say if you didn't find precise rehab at that time,
Yeah.
right? And then based on how these sort of tissues or these sort of injuries could recover, I'm saying the time frame is like 8 to 9 months or something. For
Okay.
relatively full recovery. Do you think you would have recovered the same if you didn't follow those rehab protocols? Like, let's say if you just sort of trained in a way that you're not aggravating it. Do you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Like, so you're not kind of aggravating it to the point where it hurts, but you're kind of still moving in the range of motion that you can work with.
Yes. Yes.
Right. Would you say that you would have recovered the same, or did that rehab protocol make like a difference?
Okay. So
Yeah.
I think that the recovery period would have been very different. Probably like slower or different in pace
Slightly
because
longer.
I think the precise rehab would have gotten me there fast. Has gotten me there faster. And if I had done it according to what you said, probably not as quick, or probably not make like a full like return comeback.
Right. Yeah.
Because at the time my knowledge of rehab and all this was very limited. Yeah.
Can you share an example of what actually they did that to fix your back?
Okay, so what the first thing was they had me go through an assessment, right, of the movements that I could or could not do, what movements triggered pain, what movements triggered no pain. So basically they got me to go through a whole list, right? Once that list was done, they started implementing stretching and strengthening protocols, specifically like spinal extension or flexion, but to certain degrees. Like, it wasn't just full blown like, okay, go touch your toes kind of thing. It was trying to get me to go to that, but at the same time knowing how to strengthen the lower back by doing proper extensions. At the same time, they were doing stretching for me, they were doing dry needling for me, they were doing like TENS, all these kind of modalities. They were doing it, but they were doing it in the right manner
Yep.
and the right way.
Yeah.
So they weren't just like a typical clinic where you go there, you tell them you have back pain, they slap on some electrodes, and then they just leave you there for like 20 minutes. They come back, they, I don't know, put a hot pack or something,
Yep.
and then you feel that temporary relief.
Yep.
Okay, which if you're a physiotherapy listening to if you're a physiotherapist listening to this, or if you're a med student listening to this, you would know that the temporary pain relief is just that. It's just pain relief.
Yeah.
It's basically whatever he did to you was just to block off that pain.
The pain, yeah.
Yeah, the pain for a very short while.
So did you do any weight training during this time?
Absolutely,
Oh.
absolutely. So I still continued to do weight training despite my injury,
Yeah.
but I just worked around it,
Mhm.
which is kind of what this podcast is about.
Yeah.
It's basically for those of you who are listening to this, if you get an injury and your doctor tells you should stop lifting altogether, you should find a new doctor.
Yes, you should find a new doctor.
You should find a new doctor. I mean,
Or you could speak to us. I don't know. Just say.
Yeah.
if you need help, you can personally, like, if you need help with a doctor, you can personally message me. I can recommend you
Yep.
like a really like a bunch of good sports doctors. But then again, if the doctor tells you that you should not work out because you sprained your ankle or you pulled your back, then
Yep.
honestly there are ways to go about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did you know? How did you know how to train with the injury that you had? did the guys in Princess Rehab actually?
So that's a good question actually. So it was a combined team effort, combining his knowledge of rehab with my knowledge of training.
Yep.
He told me that okay, you should strengthen your back, but you can't do this movement. You can do this movement. So come up with exercises, and then the loading should be gradual. So he gave me kind of like a blueprint. So I had to fill in that blueprint with my own. So that's kind of like how an athlete and your doctor or your rehab or your therapist will work together.
Right.
It's like a team effort.
Okay. So after 6 months after the second MRI, then what happened? You just finished. Stuff happens. So after the second MRI and you continue with your training. So after the first year, you said you were on the protocol for 1 year, right?
Yeah.
So what happened by the end of 1 year?
So after 1 year, I got another MRI done, but that was probably at least another 7-8 months after my second MRI, and it showed a reduction in the damaged area. So a significant reduction compared to the first time around. And ever since that time, the doctor had told me that okay, the area which we had previously injured is getting better. Just don't push it too much, right? And I still continue to do like proper warm-ups, proper cool-downs, things like that. Ever since. So I've actually not really gotten another MRI done after the third one. It costs a lot. It costs a lot. You can get cheap at a government hospital, but it's gonna take you forever to wait.
Yeah, you have to wait in line.
Yeah, wait in line. So I basically I stopped feeling pain.
So you didn't tell the doctor that, look, you remember what you said? Like
I saw a different
year ago?
doctor.
Oh, dear.
You should go back to him.
Yeah.
I did not want to go back to him. I was really I was really pissed off.
Yeah.
I was just like really annoyed. More annoyed than pissed off, because I tried to tell the doctor like, hey, I understand what you're saying, but what about this? And they just completely shut me down,
Yeah.
as if like I didn't know
Nothing.
what I was talking about. So that's the kind of people that annoy me. That they think they're so right.
Yeah.
Just because they know a little bit about this, and then they want to think they know everything.
Yeah,
Right?
and it's crazy because it's like imagine how many other people are going to them with like not as serious injuries, right? And they're telling them, oh no, you can't train anymore, you can't deadlift anymore, you can't squat, or you can't even run anymore, which is silly.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
I think a lot of these doctors, right, like, yeah, if you're listening to this, right, I don't care, like, you need to learn your shit, right? Like, really learn it, because you're hurting people more than injuries that they have, right? By telling them to not move, to not exercise, it's silly. They don't really understand the concept of adaptation whatsoever. They view the human body, like, this is an old school of thought of process for a lot of them, as like just purely mechanical without any type of adaptation happening whatsoever, right? Like if you break something and that's it, you're done. Like, you're not going to get stronger, your body's not going to adapt to it, right? You could probably adapt to your back injury like you had in a different way.
Yeah.
Like, even if you didn't see a physiotherapy, maybe over 2-3 years you can get back to it again just because you grew into it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, your body adapts to the stress that it has.
Yeah.
Right? And if you don't train, what does that make you adapt to? Not training. Right? So how are you supposed to get better by not training?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make sense. It's ridiculous.
So when, after the first year, I assume did you lose any strength?
Yeah,
during
absolutely. I did lose strength because I was no longer able to push at the same intensity I could back then. But when you're young, you're just young and dumb.
Yeah.
You feel like you're indestructible.
Yeah. You can be old and dumb, so.
Those are the worst kind of people.
Yeah,
Those are the worst. Just like that doctor. Hey, doctor.
Exactly.
That's for
yeah,
you.
it's like so. Yeah, I over the years, like the sport, the training, everything it's just taught me to be more humble, in every aspect. Okay, and when it comes to treating an injury, that you're nursing an injury, just take your time to rehab it. Don't be in a rush, especially nowadays. I see a lot of younger generation like athletes. They get so hyped up to get back, to train, to compete, to win, and then they get injured. But then they think that okay, after as soon as they don't feel pain anymore,
Back
they're
to the
better.
same thing.
100%. Yeah.
You're 100%, and then you can go back in. And then what end up happening is that they injure themselves again, only this time it's much more worse.
Yep.
So that's what I'm trying to say is that if you're nursing an injury, you should just be humble about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just go see a sports doctor.
It is. If you say you can see a sports doctor or you can see a physiotherapist.
Yeah.
Personally, these two really work in your favor. If you
Yeah.
are someone that's looking to get back into a competitive sport, or you would like a second opinion, if you still trust your family doctor or whatnot, if you still like a second opinion, do search out these professionals.
Right. So in 2016, probably you were out. You weren't competing at all.
Yeah, about that, I kind of still was.
I mean, all the while.
When I said young and dumb, I really meant young and dumb.
But how could you though? Because that thing was limiting you from
Yeah,
lifting
so
maximum weights.
from March until March 2016,
CrossFit.
I honestly have to actually check back, but I think I did a meet in 2015 again. I wasn't as strong, but then as soon as 2016 came around, I did like 3-4 meets that year.
Oh.
Yeah, I was so pumped. I was like I said, young and
You
dumb.
didn't feel any pain,
No,
and you still won.
I still won.
That's the
Yeah.
state of our athletes in Malaysia, huh?
Well, I think for me it was just more of like a proving a point. Like it was like trying to prove a point to myself.
Yeah.
Like I was never really a gifted athlete in school. Like I could not excel so much in basketball. I couldn't excel in football or badminton. But I wanted a sport to call my own. I wanted to tell people like, yes, I can excel in that. I am better in that. I am number one in that. So that's sport. So I was of that mindset back then. So which is what kept me super focused.
Right, yeah.
So we're talking all powerlifting meets in 2016.
I need to check, but I think yes.
Yeah.
And a few CrossFit comps here and there, maybe.
Yes, I did CrossFit comps as well. I did the Juggernaut. I did the. What else did I do? Juggernaut. Can't remember.
Was there Pandora? Was there a Pandora that time?
No, there was no
X45. Yeah.
I didn't do X45. I didn't do X45. But yeah, I think I did a CrossFit comp too. Hopper? Did I do Hopper? No, I'm not sure I did Hopper. I was judging at Hopper.
You were judging.
I was judging.
I thought you were judging
you-
Hopper.
No,
You were judging
I was a judge at Hopper judging people. It's like no rep. Come on, man, give me a good squat. Rep. Okay, there we go.
Right.
So after 2016, then when did you stop powerlifting? You stopped powerlifting, right? In the first place. Yeah?
I did stop powerlifting.
Or at least competing lah. At least stop competing.
No, I had stopped like powerlifting specific training last year. Also because of an injury, and that injury, that was the one that was with you. I think
It was your glute injury, right?
I tore my glute. Yeah,
You tore your butt.
I tore my butt. So I tore the outer part of my butt, and it was
that was a funny day.
yeah.
Was it a
yeah.
squat?
No,
It was actually-
it was your sumo. Was
Oh,
it? Yeah,
really?
it was your sumo.
It was kind of like my sumo, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was
I
like
think yeah, you had your squats first, right? And you were kind of like, and then you went to do sumo or something like that.
I feel like the squat probably would have caused it.
yeah.
And then
Because it was a build up. It was a cumulative
Probably,
build
yeah.
up of squatting a lot. Because I personally like to squat a lot.
And you squat with a lot of excellent rotation of the legs, right? You really you shove your knees out.
Yes, I do, but not so much. I think it was more towards the volume.
Mm.
The
Okay.
overall, just volume. I squat like anywhere between 2 to 4 times a week.
Ooh.
And yeah, like I said, I just love squatting. I go with different variations. Even if I'm a powerlifter, I still overhead squat every now and then. But just that overall build up of volume just finally led to my glutes just tearing. Again, I didn't go for surgery. I saw the right doctor this time around. I saw the right physiotherapist.
because you already knew, right? This time you
Yeah,
already knew.
I learned from my experience who not to go and who to go to.
Wait,
Yeah.
if you tear your butt,
Yes.
right?
No, I think you're looking at the butt as a whole. I don't think that's what
it's
Luke
not like
means.
the-
No,
It's
not
not
like
like,
the
you know,
butt.
your butt tears apart. It's more
Eh?
like, you know, the muscle on the outside.
Yeah.
The glute
Okay,
medius.
let me
So I didn't have like two cracks.
Yeah, it's like
So what happens? Like if this is a if this is a muscle, right?
Yes.
Cleft.
Yes.
So then it will tear. How big was the tear to begin with?
Okay, so in how they would define a grade tear, right? So in physiotherapy, there's like four grades of tears, where you start when you start off with just a minor, like a strain. Okay, the tissue has torn to a certain degree, but it's very minimal.
Mm.
So then there's a second grade tear, whereby you have a substantial amount of tearing. Grade 3 is a lot, and grade 4 is just a complete tear. Like you need surgery, like that.
Right.
Just put it back together.
Yeah.
Like how many inches are we talking about? Or
Okay.
they don't measure it.
They do measure. So for my tear in particular, it was about, give or take, I think it was 2.3 centimeters.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
considered a great tear.
A great tear. Yeah, I mean, it was a tear, but there was 2 points.
Right.
There was 2 points of tearing. One was 2.3 centimeters, and another one was about, I think, 3.
3.
Right. So when we usually work out the muscles, break.
Micro tears.
Yeah,
So
is that-
micro tears are like less than like millimeters.
Mm.
We're talking about millimeters.
Probably less than that. So micro tears are on a microscopic level. Like a actual tear, like the one I experienced was on a more like
superficial.
yeah, more towards like a definitely
Like a rip.
yeah, like a rip.
Okay, now, so we've got a tear, right?
Yeah,
How does physiotherapy
yeah.
Get it?
fix? Yeah, glue
Glue the tear together.
Yeah.
Sew it back.
UFO
Yeah.
glue. Elephant glue.
Trust it.
Yeah.
Try it.
I
test
don't
it.
understand how that works.
Okay, so the thing about the human body, it's really amazing. It can actually recover over most things, so especially tissue. Now,
Yep.
when it comes to rehab or recovering from an injury, it's the process of how you approach that particular injury. You have to make the environment and the situation
Facilitate the recovery.
to help facilitate the recovery better. So over time, tissue will heal.
Right.
It's just that it's whether you do it properly or don't do it properly at all. So in instances where if it's still like recoverable, like the tissue can still like get together and heal back,
Mhm.
then it's great.
But,
So we-
but if this you mean like heal back without surgery, without attachment, right?
Without
Okay.
surgery,
Okay.
because if like it was, because the tear, if it's like a certain like space, then there's still other tissues around it to help the repair process, right?
Mm.
If it's a complete tear,
Probably tear
You need
you need surgery because there's basically nothing else
to connect it.
to connect it together. If it's still a very small tear, there's still the surrounding tissue that is still holding it together, and over time the tissue will
build
gradually
back, right?
They grow back or
Uh,
they regenerate.
They will
Your
regenerate.
Wolverine.
Yeah,
Sort of
Very
like that,
slow Wolverine.
Yeah.
very slow Wolverine.
How long did it take for you to recover from this?
Oh, this
butt tear?
injury was actually this one has been more severe for me. It's
Then the
been-
back,
yeah,
man,
because this
because you
glute,
got big butt.
I have an ordinary butt, but
yeah.
okay. But no, I think it's because this glute injury. After I had this glute injury, it started to affect my old injury in my back.
Oh,
Yeah, because
Right.
it's like it's kind of like linked together.
Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of linked together. If you can't squat, if you try to squat with the injury to a glute, everything just becomes unstable.
Mm-hmm.
So everything's unstable. Your back gets loaded wrongly, and then it just messes up the whole mechanics.
Yeah.
So did you learn from your first injury that did you still train throughout the recovery process of the butt injury?
A good question. I did still train, but I managed my training better. Like I worked around exercises that aggravated my injury. So for me, I'm always of the mindset to just continue training. It personally, like it's a very, again, to me, I find it as a very good silver lining to always focus on your weaker links when you have an injury as you are recovering. Take that time to focus on aspects of your training that you are weak at. Or in my case, if you're a powerlifter, focus on lifts that you're bad at. So perhaps bench. Yeah. So if I couldn't train my lower body, I could sure as hell train my upper body.
How long did it take for you to recover this injury?
Realistically speaking, but I'm still in recovery, but like 1 year.
What?
1 year.
Oh, that's a long time.
This is a long time.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I noticed. Did you change your squat mechanics a bit? It looks like you're more knee flexion. You trying to purposely not flex at the hips or something?
Uh,
Or could it just be something subconscious or?
I think it's just getting back into it. Like I'm usually quite balanced between knee flexion and hip flexion. It's just that ever since coming back into training, I've probably still trying to get accustomed to what's working for me.
Okay.
Like back then, it was a good amount of knee flexion combined with hips. Now it's just been more knee flexion
Okay.
because somehow it feels much better for me now.
Better. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So once you think it's better, then you can start to load the hips a bit more.
Yeah, I think so.
So, was that the reason that you stopped powerlifting altogether, or competitive powerlifting?
I stopped competitive powerlifting altogether, and at the same time, I saw it as rather than as like a downside, I saw it as an opportunity to try something else. So I did bodybuilding. Like I did my first show. So it was a very good take on the life of a bodybuilder. Like the preparing for it, cooking for it, eating for it. It's ridiculous. It's crazy the amount of commitment they have for it. Yeah.
So, how is the training different in terms of intensity for bodybuilding and also powerlifting?
Okay, so for powerlifting, because our end goal is to always attain.
Look beautiful.
Beautiful.
No, for powerlifting.
Oh, sorry. My mind is somewhere else.
On his glutes.
I think
Yeah.
we need to make sure that people know that maybe for you intensity means something else, but
yeah. Technical term.
yeah, but technically intensity, when you speak of intensity, it means the total amount of weight that you're lifting or the amount of weight on bar currently,
Yeah.
right, compared to your overall volume. It doesn't mean that intense means I did so many reps and whatnot. That's just more in volume.
I see
Yeah.
corrected.
Yeah, so I would assume that like bodybuilding, I mean it is anyway, like a lot higher in volume,
And much lower intensity.
much lower
right?
intensity. Right? It depends though, right?
Yeah, so Faye has a good point actually. People tend to interpret intensity
How
much
hard the training is.
Yeah,
Right?
so like intensity in some definitions is like your set times your your sets, your rest time, your load. All these factors are a definition of intensity. So in our case, powerlifting would be the amount of weight that you're attempting to lift, the percentage of your the percentage of weight you're lifting in relation to your 1 rep max.
Yep.
Okay, so that will be intensity. So for powerlifters, that's what we are working towards, working up to building our 1 rep max. So in bodybuilding, it's not that, it's like very far from it. It's basically for muscle hypertrophy. You want to look jacked. Okay, but how you train for it, they honestly don't even train that much as heavy as a powerlifter. In fact, probably half or lesser. So the rep ranges changes. They stick to probably 8 to 12 reps, 8 reps, things like that. So they focus more towards just chasing for the pump. And also there is some strength development in there, but most likely during the off season. Yeah.
And with bodybuilding, I think a lot of people think you have to have a variety of exercises. But
Yeah.
I look at people like Dr. Mike Isotal,
Yeah,
Jared Feather.
Yep.
They usually choose one exercise and they try to get good at it, but in like an 8 to 10 rep range.
Yes.
Then they just cycle. So I
Yes.
think, was that how you train?
Yes, actually that was how I trained. But for me, I had a lot of lagging parts,
Okay.
especially my back. So I had to put in a bit more exercises or variations to actually just target that part of my weakness. But comparing to like the newer people like coming into bodybuilding, they've just been like ridiculously putting 12 different exercises in 1 day's worth of training, when they could just have gotten the same amount of results if they had stuck to like five really good exercises, and then just cycle that.
Right. Just
Yeah.
progressively overload in that
Yeah,
cycle and then
yeah.
just switch.
You don't need
Change
that
it
many.
every day.
Yeah, you don't need to change it. It's more, sometimes in the case of this, more is not better.
Yeah.
Less is better.
That's funny because I just found like an old book I have at home because I kept a log of my bodybuilding stuff.
Yeah.
It was like day one. It was like 12 freaking exercises. Like, what the hell was I doing? It's like 5 sets of 8, 6 sets of 7. Like, what's that?
Ran arbitrary like numbers.
Yeah, it's like,
So I guess the main difference between powerlifting and bodybuilding is that one is the exercise selection.
Yeah.
You're not confined to the powerlifting movements.
Yes.
If you don't want to or don't want to do it, right?
Yeah.
And also the intensity. So bodybuilders, maybe you try to progress in the 8 to 10 rep range.
Yep,
You don't have to go to 5 or 3, right?
exactly.
And everything else is pretty much the same, right?
The
Progressive
yeah.
overload.
Principle's the same.
Yeah, principles the same, right?
But I think like what people are failing to see right now, because it's like they always have a very tunnel vision,
Mhm.
is that bodybuilders work harder than powerlifters and powerlifters work harder than bodybuilders or things like that, or people are just overall they have such a big ego they don't want to learn
Mm-hmm.
from the other sport,
Yeah.
knowing full well that even if you're a powerlifter or a bodybuilder, regardless you can benefit from both.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah, see, so powerlifters can benefit from bodybuilders by doing the rep ranges, doing the exercises, especially in the off season. And bodybuilders can sure as hell benefit from powerlifters by doing the main lifts and not just working with the 8 to 10 rep range, but the 5 rep range, even the 4 rep range, because strength is, maybe I'm just biased saying this, but strength is key.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Strength is key regardless of any sport
Yeah.
that you're in. Doesn't have to be a barbell sport, even running. If
Oh,
you
yeah,
are
for
a
sure,
strong
yeah.
athlete, you will produce force that will make you
Yeah.
run
Yeah.
faster.
You're probably
run
going to be
better.
faster than that guy
Faster,
who's
yeah.
not
Yeah,
as strong.
exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's good. I think that's a good point for people to understand that strength is always the main driver for putting on muscle mass, just getting better,
More
Yeah.
powerful.
improving,
right?
yeah, more powerful, and especially amongst like CrossFitters, I don't think they take strength training as seriously as they should,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
But then again, that's because they have so much stuff to learn anyway. But the thing is, if you focus for 6 months on strength, all those things that you're struggling with will probably get easier just because you're
Yeah,
stronger.
yeah.
Compared to spending 6 months like doing 20 different things at once.
Yeah,
right?
okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's where the programming aspect of like CrossFit comes in. So
Yeah, I think
Can I say that you get bigger when you are stronger? Is that a fair statement?
in general, yeah. In general, that
You
depends.
get bigger when you are stronger.
When you're stronger, you naturally will get bigger.
I
So my point is this: like if CrossFitter were to focus on strength, like for
Mhm.
example, will they gain size, which limits their ability to do CrossFit?
I don't
think
necessarily think so
so.
because strength. Okay, getting strength. If you tell me that if you get stronger, you'll get bigger. If
Will
you
be
tell
huge.
as compared to someone who does like a bodybuilding. Okay, so a bodybuilder would obviously get bigger much faster because his program is always trained for that. The stimulus he gets from his program would allow him to hypertrophy much faster. As compared to someone who does a strength specific,
Mm-hmm.
he would not put on as much muscle
Mm.
simply because of the stimulus he's receiving from his training. It's different in the sense that he's working towards his getting his power output higher
Mhm.
rather than his muscles getting
Muscle
bigger.
Mm.
But he will, like the law dictates that it will generally change. Like you cannot stay stagnant forever. So doing strength training, you will get bigger. It's just that how much bigger you get is questionable. It's subjective.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It depends.
I'm not sure if getting stronger will get you bigger, but if you want to get stronger, you have to get bigger, I think. So-
Isn't that the same thing?
No.
No.
What it means is that if you train for strength specific, you probably won't put on much size because you have to lower the volume. The volume is the main driver of
Of
your
growth.
hypertrophy growth. Yeah.
Right.
So if you have a lot of volume, then you're masking your performance. So when you're in that strength specific phase, you have to lower the volume a bit so that you can see
Mm.
where you are.
Yeah. Your
But-
potential.
Yeah, but to get strong, you need to have the muscle tissue. To
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
contracts,
Yeah.
So, but if you train for strength, you're only training for that neurological aspect.
Neurological aspect.
Yeah. That motor learning.
Oh.
CNS.
Yeah, so the more you squat, the better
Oh.
you get at squatting,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
more weight you can lift.
Okay, so
Oh.
for example, Haris, how much can you bench right now? How much
My
you bench,
best
bro?
bench,
Personal.
Yes.
which has yet to be updated, is one on their record website is 180 at 75.
Up-
180, that's 180 kilos at a 75 kilo body weight. Now, basically, so if you see his chest is developed and it's good, right? But he can bench a ridiculous amount. But his chest is, if you compare it to a bodybuilder,
Mhm.
it's not as big.
Yeah.
You see? So while his chest is still growing, the rate of development versus the bodybuilder has much bigger chest.
Mm.
But the bodybuilder's bench is probably, what, 60, 70 kilos?
Yeah.
60, 70 kilos?
Struggling.
Okay.
Don't
All
knock
you,
the
bro.
bodybuilders, man.
All you, bro.
Yeah, so you see, like, it doesn't necessarily mean that if you
You're
can
gonna grow
bench
bigger.
a lot, if you are strong, it will help you later on when you are like you want to pursue like the high, like 8 to 12 rep ranges, it will definitely help you for sure. And then you just need to change your goals. But strength, no matter what, if you have good strength, you can get bigger faster. It's just if you choose to, if you want to go through that.
I think the thing about having to get stronger to get bigger is more so that you want to make sure that you're actually progressively overload. That's how you know you're getting stronger. So if you keep switching the exercises, then you won't know you're getting stronger because
what are you overloading?
yeah.
Yeah.
What are you overloading?
No,
So it's not like you're getting stronger per se, but it's that you know you're improving on the exercise. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Actually, I understand what you guys are talking about, despite my, apparent lack of knowledge. But like Ilya, right? He was
Yeah.
from 85, then he went to 95, and then 100 and something, right?
Yeah.
He got bigger, then he got stronger.
That's because it was required by the sport. That's because it was required by the weight class that he was going up to, right?
Meaning?
So, because he wanted to go up another, like all these other higher weight classes
Okay.
to win it, right? Like the numbers he was putting out in the lower category was already quite high,
Okay.
right? So it was only like a natural thing that if he put on some more weight, he may be able to lift some more, right? Like it doesn't mean that he probably wouldn't be able to reach like 245 clean and jerk at 85. Can probably clean 240 at 85.
Because he need the musculature, the whatever,
Yeah.
to support that kind of weight.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Not just that, but the mass as well. Like he became fat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was
became
fat.
Yeah. So
He
you're
is,
you're
yeah.
you're using your mass to kind of lift the weight at that point.
Yeah, when you put on and lose weight, you change, depending on how much you put on, how much you lose weight, you change your mechanics quite drastically as well.
Yes.
Like,
Okay.
yeah.
Like I'm fat, I can't bend down. Right.
Yeah.
So if I'm
Ray Williams would beg to differ.
Very.
really?
Have you seen how much he squats and deadlifts?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah. He's got Optimus Prime, right? Or something?
Yeah,
Optimus
Optimus
Prime. Is it, Optimus
Yeah,
Prime.
Yeah. Look, I think you need to cancel your 1 o'clock. Right?
I can't cancel my one. I gotta go.
I tell you,
All
I
right.
mean, I've not had this much fun on the podcast until today. There's a lot of
Golden tidbits.
information.
We can do a part 2.
Yeah, we can do
a part 2 where we
with
talk.
Yeah,
actual
yeah.
video.
Within
Yeah.
nutrition
Yeah.
part.
You should come back though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
this
definitely
is-
love to be back.
With actual
Yeah.
video.
We haven't even gotten
Nutrition.
what you're doing after the bodybuilding. There's so much to talk
There's
about.
so much to talk about. Maybe a part 2. I don't
Yeah,
know.
sure,
Yeah,
sure,
we can
sure,
talk to, yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
All right.
I thank you for coming to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Really sorry for all the technical difficulties. We just got some new equipment and stuff, and it just happens to break
Camera
down on
is
us.
overheated.
Yeah.
It's
It's-
Faris's problem. Let's point to him
Yeah.
right now.
It's Faris.
No, just kidding.
He's not
kidding.
impressed. Oh my god.
He didn't put enough
he's
I'm just kidding, I'm
stressed.
just kidding.
No, he's stressed out.
He's
Okay.
So anyway, that's it for this week. Thanks again, Luke, for coming.
Yeah.
Do you want to plug in your whatever you know?
If you guys are looking for a strength coach or a rehab therapist to help you with your prehab or post-injury rehab, you can always search for me. My Instagram handle is Luke Lango Powerlifting, at Luke Lango Powerlifting.
All right, cool. With that said, we'll see you guys. There's no camera, so we'll see you guys
Part 2.
next week.
Yeah, see you
for
guys
the
part
next
2 next
episode.
week.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you guys for having me.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for
Spoiler
coming.
end game.
Thanks for listening to Barbell Junction.
Sorry, Faris. Hi, Azmir here. This is just a public announcement. I just want to address a question that I've received recently with regards to our international seminars. As you know, we are hosting Zach Cooper in July and Torokti in October. The question that I get asked is, why is the cost expensive? There are several reasons for this. Number one, it depends on the personality. Someone who is more famous like Torokti will have a higher fee. Number two, their flight cost. Number three, their accommodation. So usually they will be staying a minimum of 3 nights. Number four, ground transportation. Number five, the food that we are going to serve during the seminars. So we'll provide breakfast and also lunch for both days. And we're not talking about a 2 ringgit sandwich or 50 cents nasi lemak bungkus. We're going to provide you with proper meals. Then there's the fact that we need to close the gym for our members. Plus, we have to open up on Sunday to host this. I understand that it is a lot. But look at it this way. We hope that with the success of these courses, we can use the profits to drive down the price for future courses. We certainly would love to hear who you'd like us to bring over in the future. At the end of the day, we mustn't lose sight of why we're doing this. For us, it's not just to make money, but to elevate our own knowledge and understanding of the sport that we love. It is to take advantage of having them here and asking them questions as opposed to getting them from Google. There's only so much that you can learn through the internet, and I sincerely believe that we all can learn something from them. So help make these seminars a success, and I promise you, we will do our best to bring in more in the future at a more affordable price. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you guys here. By the way, click on the links in the description to register for all these courses. Thank you again. Assalamualaikum.
Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe and turn the notifications on. If you like the video, hit the like button and leave a comment. We're also on Spotify, Instagram, and Facebook. The links are in the description. See you guys in the next episode. Bye.